I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Light?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
Oh, the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's
yeah,
called
with
Lightyear.
Keke Palmer is in that movie.
Okay,
She
okay.
plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman.
An uncomfortable reality for modern day conservatives to recognize, and that is that the legalization of gay marriage is part of the slippery slope that led us to where we are today with the trans agenda. And I say that as someone who used to be a liberal and who fought for the legalization of gay marriage. But when you accept gay marriage, both legally and culturally, what you are implicitly saying to the culture is that men and women are essentially interchangeable.
Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie.
That there are no fundamental differences between men and women. That a man and a woman is not, in fact, necessary. That nothing sacred happens, but when a man comes together in union with a woman. That, in fact, it can be a man and a man or a woman and a woman, and it's all just pretty much the same. It's all valid. It's all equal. It's all good. It doesn't matter. And
hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, it's fuck me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
So when you do that, when you accept that as a culture, it's really only a hop, skip, and a jump. And for us, it took about 10 years to be at a place where a man can feel like a woman, where a man can even become a woman. Why can't he? Men and women are interchangeable, right? A man and a woman are not necessary, right? You can have a man and a man, you can have a woman and a woman, and the outcome is just the same for the children, for the family, for everyone, right? It's all equal. It's all valid. And who are you to say that a person in a male body doesn't feel like a woman? Who are you to say that their feelings are not valid? So I understand that that's hard for a lot of modern day conservatives to accept, and for a lot of the L, the G, and the B crowd to accept that they are part of what led us to the T, but it's the reality.
Yeah, guys, sound off and let us know what you think. I 100% agree with what she said.
Yeah.
I think the chain of distortion was marriage, gender, humanity. So, and you guys who have been watching us for some time know that this is sort of where this is where I this is my bread and butter, because I believe the ultimate end is transhumanism. Okay. So, God designed marriage as a covenant between one man and one woman, and redefining that union distorts gender roles. And this is where it started when culture accepted same-sex marriage. Again, I don't agree with it, but if they had said they were something else, like a what would you call it, civil union,
civil unions, correct?
Right, they should have kept it there. But redefining marriage, it broke the link between male and female and family structure. See, this is the main part as well. It's not just marriage. Everybody is always talking about, oh, what has this done to marriage? No, it was the beginning of redefining roles, not just in marriage, but the entire family unit. And it opened the door for transgender ideology, because if gender roles don't matter in marriage, then gender itself can be erased. And once gender is erased, humanity itself becomes fluid, paving the way for transhumanism. The idea that we can redefine what it means to be a human. This is real stuff, folks. And in my opinion, this is the number one issue affecting us all, because everything begins with marriage. Everything, the family, relationships, defining what mother is, what father is. It all starts there. That is, what reflects the Christ in the church. Ephesians 5:22-32. That's what about Christ in the church. That's what God says in the Bible about how that marriage is a reflection of that. So when we start saying that's interchangeable and we start getting the
Yeah.
mindset of interchangeability, the same logic that says a man can become a woman comes out of that.
And of course, this was all under the Obama administration. So we should not be surprised of how much stuff happened under his administration. And it's a slippery slope. So yes, do I agree with her with a lot of what she is saying? We're just in a fallen world.
Yeah.
And you give evil of any kind an inch, and it takes 10 miles. It'll take the world. Satan's, goal to steal, to kill, to destroy, and to destroy marriage. Mm-hmm. He's always after the family. This is why we have video clips of children, the things that happen in this attack against children, attack with real biological women, because the attack is on the family. Anything that he can do to destroy a man and a woman and a marriage and having children and being fruitful and knowing the gospel, he will do. And he did. So I was talking to my husband about it just today, and he's like, yeah, I don't equate the two, but it opened up the door. Mm-hmm. It was opening up Pandora's box to what could happen next. And again, this LGBTQ, I really think it's a different entity that, yes, maybe that was that tiny evil that started, but I think what we're seeing now and what we've seen the last 4 years is a totally different spiritual demonic entity that has gone on full attack. And there are still nations that push back. So we like to pretend this is everywhere. This was normal. It wasn't. European nations, Canada, of course, they like to join in everything. Go. I'm sorry if there's anybody out there in Canada. We pray for you too, the same as we pray for Americans. We're praying for all nations. But Italy, Japan, strong, and right now they're trying to make that push in Japan. But Italy, Japan, South Korea, there are still nations where same-sex marriage is illegal. And we don't like to talk about, and maybe it's because of all our woke politicians and all those woke people don't like to talk about Black and brown people. They have them on their side, but there's still nations where African nations even punishable by death. Being gay is punishable by death still.
I won't go. I don't agree with that. I don't agree.
That's what I'm saying. There are nations that are still extreme. So I'm with you. If they had just kept it at civil unions,
right?
Like when you redefine, and it goes back to Christianity, when you redefine morality, that was my issue. When you start redefining what is moral and what is right, it's heartbreaking to see. And we've fallen into that. And again, that's that Sodom and Gomorrah. There's nothing new under the sun.
Nope.
This is not new. It's just that we made everything acceptable.
Right.
And then we pushed the agenda. That's when you started having children's books and cartoons start showing the two mommies and the two daddies. And that was where my issue was during the Obama administration. And then shortly thereafter, I was like, well, wait a second. It's one thing. Okay, great. Supreme Court made their decision. It's, too late for right now, but we saw what happened with Roe v. Wade. So I'm just saying that when I started seeing it pushed on children was my issue. And you're right, KJ, was that breakdown. I liked her clip. I'm glad it's going viral. I'm glad it's starting the discussion. I know a lot of people that are gay, that are in a gay marriage, and they say they're happily married and everything. And you pray for everybody, no matter what. It's not about condemnation, because again, at the end of the day, we all answer to the Most High God. Everyone will answer to God. But for this reason, a man will, leave his mom and cleave to his wife. These are biblical truths. This is morality. This is the word that we are following. And when we saw it here in the United States, and we are, supposed to be founded on Christian values, that's where you start to question. I just question everything. And what do we do? And what do we do?
It's like you said, I don't go out and try to offend people. That's never my goal. But then I think about how far we've gone off the deep end, and it's from us as Christians, as Bible believers. we want not wanting to offend. You know, we wanting to, the doors of the church are open and everybody can come in, which they can. But then we have a situation where the church and Christians have become flexible for the culture. Instead of us changing the culture has changed us.
Yeah.
And now we're at this point where you have this transhumanism. And this takes it even further by blurring the lines between human and machine, between natural and artificial. And both movements flow from the same rebellion, rejecting God's created order and trying to become our own gods. And so what we've seen now is this whole technocratic and political agenda form. So once marriage was redefined, big tech and global elites saw the cultural door open wide to redefine everything, from transgender ideology in schools, which desensitizes the next generation, to radical redefinitions of humanity. I mean, we got all these robots. We talked about this on Pop and Politics. These sex bots are big. The transhumanist agenda is really starting to explode, like AI integration, gene editing, and designer babies. Yeah. You know, this stuff is real. It's all sold as progress, but rest on the same rejection of the creation of truth. It's, you know, truth creation. And this is where it's going, folks. So we can't be silent. We got to stick up. We got to stand up against it.
I don't. That's why I was never in support of these mRNA vaccines. Even that, I was like, okay, this is where it starts. And I mentioned earlier the extremes, where there's some nations that are full extremes. By the way, Islam is full extreme on some of these issues. So I don't ignore them. Totally. And you're right, KJ, totally disagree, because whatever your sin is, that's your sin. We all have it. But we're talking about when the nation makes a decision that falls so far away from what its core values were, where do we stand? And to the point that a lot of my super chatters are in here saying, where is the church during all of this? Where were they and where are they? Well, what we see is that a lot of churches are flying LGBTQ flags and not preaching the gospel.
Right. Yeah.
So then all of morality is becoming blurred. And if you're going to that church and bringing your children there, then you don't know what to think because you're not getting the word. And you're right. And that leads to the extreme on the other end, KJ, is the transhumanism, which, by the way, if you want to go biblical, if you really want to get into it, the Nephilim were that very thing. Satan's been doing this for a very long time, with distorting and wanting to destroy or change or create and manipulate humanity. Why? Because he can't create. Only God could create, but he can manipulate. And he's been doing it since the beginning, and he's going to continue to do it. But where do we take our stand? So I love her clip. Where do we say enough?
Yeah.
But I still believe marriage is between one man and one woman. And Jesus even reiterates that it's Old Testament and New Testament. You can find it. So